You've probably heard the saying, build it and they would come. But when we think of real life, it rather rarely happens to be true, doesn't it? Hello and welcome to the L&D Academy's channel. My name is Irina and I'm a learning and development consultant with over a decade of experience in the field. Let's be honest, in our careers as L&D practitioners, we've created numerous programs that we thought were absolutely brilliant, super useful, and very practical. And employees would just engage with them the minute they were rolled out, only to find ourselves greeted with the sound of crickets. It's not enough to introduce great tools and resources. You also need to assist employees in adopting a mindset and habits that would allow them to reap the benefits from all that the organization has to offer them in terms of learning. But before we dive into the actual tips on how to build employee learning habits, let's go back a bit and look at how learning actually works. What is learning? A Google search yields unexpected result. Learning is the process of acquiring new understanding, knowledge, behavior, skills, values, attitudes, and preferences. But there is so much more to it. To truly understand the learning process, we need to understand how the brain works. While it is only 3% of our body weight, the brain actually uses 25% of our oxygen and blood supply. And there is a reason for it. The brain needs a lot of energy to convert data into lessons. Think of it this way. Imagine you're in a dense jungle and you need to get out. This is the first time a human has set foot in there, and there's a lot of fauna that hinders your journey. As you walk, you use your machete to fight your way through. It is slow, it's painful. However, you left a path behind you, so now if you have to go through the same jungle, it's going to be much easier. And every time you walk through, you make the path bigger and there's less resistance. The path becomes a track, a small road, and ultimately a highway. The same thing, more or less, happens in our brain when we are faced with new information. Very simply put, the brain is made up of neurons. When these neurons connect, forming the so-called neural pathways, we learn something new. The stronger the pathway, the easier we can recall the information. For example, the name of our new colleague or the address of the new office. If you repeat both of these enough times, the connection becomes stronger and therefore easier to remember. Going back to learning, we can then say that learning is the process of creating and sustaining new neural pathways for the purpose of acquiring new understanding, knowledge, behavior, skills, values, attitudes, and preferences. It's not as sexy a definition, but way more accurate. What are learning habits? Another Google search defines habits for us: a routine of behavior that is repeated regularly and tends to occur subconsciously. Therefore, habits are all routine behaviors we subconsciously repeat for the purpose of building new and enforcing old neural pathways. So, what could be considered a learning habit then? How about things like proactively finding the best learning opportunities, matching learning opportunities to our learning preferences and styles, being genuinely curious, asking for feedback on our work and learning from it, wanting to master a skill or excel at our job, knowing our optimal learning times, and taking breaks? What are some habits we missed on our list? Let us know in the comments below. How to build learning habits. Now that we have a hefty list of learning habits, what can you do as the L&D practitioner in charge? Keep in mind that learning has a lot to do with change. We learn something, we need to apply it, and that means replacing the old way of doing things. Not everyone will be comfortable with this, and as you will see in our tips later in the video, building learning habits requires the involvement of many people, teams, and departments. As the saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child. Translated to our language, it takes an organization to raise a learner. Here's some of our suggestions on how you can build learning habits. Allow employees to find out and explore their learning preferences. You can do this with self-assessment questionnaires on their learning styles or coaching for self-awareness. Create different learning opportunities. Have a range of opportunities that fit all tastes, from classroom and online trainings to online courses, bite-sized and micro-learning, coaching and mentoring, peer reviews, project work, and even job shadowing and secondments. Empower people to make decisions themselves. If the learning isn't applied back on the job, can we truly say that it is effective? And one of the best ways to ensure learners are putting their money where their mouths are is by allowing them to make all the decisions. When leaders become hands-off, employees become hands-on. Encourage challenging the status quo. Why fix something when it ain't broke? That's a famous saying often used to encourage the status quo. But not changing means standing still. Learners should be encouraged by their managers, L&D, and HR to challenge things, especially when they believe something better can be done instead. Encourage collaboration and knowledge sharing. Humans are social beings and we learn from each other. When people collaborate and share their knowledge freely, they feel more empowered and engaged in the learning process. Not to mention, they feel responsible and accountable for their learning. Enforce regular feedback giving. Another great way to learn is through trial and error. But no error will be worth it unless we can learn from it. This is where feedback comes in. And sometimes without feedback, we may not even realize that we're making a mistake and therefore we're robbed of the opportunity to learn. Inspire active experimentation and learning from mistakes. Feedback is important, but unless we're encouraged to freely experiment and make as many mistakes as possible, then we're not really learning. We're just going with the flow. And this is where managers need to be heavily involved and to act as role models to empower their teams to try new things and learn from their errors. Eliminate unproductive systems and practices. No behavioral habits can be created or sustained unless there are systems, policies, and practices in place to support them. A great way to start is to have a closed corporate social media where the exchange of ideas and learning resources can happen freely among employees. Allow people to be in control of their learning. We feel most empowered, engaged, and motivated when we're in control of our destiny. And the same is true for learning. If your learners have a wide variety of learning opportunities to choose from, they will make the best decisions for themselves. A little secret, even if they don't, they will defend their choice anyways. And that's it, our top tips for creating learning habits. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing for more content like this. And let us know down in the comments below what other L&D topics would you like to learn more about. See you next time and happy learning!